What I would like to pick your brain about a little bit, man, is competition. How did you handle competition on your way up? Did you ever see other people making beats and you were like, oh my gosh, I hate that person? Or like, why does that person have this reputation or what have you? Did you allow it to fuel you? Or was it a muscle that you eventually just were able to have enough of your own confidence in yourself that you weren't really concerned with what other people were doing? How did you handle that throughout the years?
All right. Well, you know what you did. You just threw like a whole bunch of stuff at me. It happens to be things that I've thought a ton about. I want to start back with the social media thing, and this is why I said I want to beat up the man, because that is an intentional thing. For all you artists out there who don't understand it, it is done on purpose to make you pay for ads. So the frustration you feel, it's real, but it's also machine driven. It's AI driven. So you go and you post some stuff and you get a little traction, and then they actually pull back on how many people can see in an attempt, because it's always games with the mind, right? That they're playing to get you to now say, wait a second, I need to spend some money, make a business account, and spend $20 a week, $100 a week. And I can tell you, I know successful people personally who sell beats that are very successful. And when they open up and they tell you honestly, they've spent $500 a month on ads. Quite honestly, very, very rarely do people legit go viral. Like legit go viral. Like something
and
just
like come out of nowhere.
Come out of nowhere. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It does happen because the algorithms and everything. If it's gonna benefit the big platforms, they'll ride with it, right? So it depends. There's gonna be math that goes into whether or not they're gonna push your post that to go viral. Is it gonna work? Is it that type of content, because they just want to keep people's eyes glued. So I just wanted to say that to be honest about social media. And then
I didn't know that about that algorithm kind of thing. And of course,
and then when you spend money, here's what it is too. They mess with you too. You spend money, and then you start to get something, and then the same thing, you cap out, and then you're like, oh my God, how much do I have to spend? And then you become the guy who spends $500 a month for 6 months, and then it starts to really, and you got to be doing it right too. You could easily spend the $3,500 to get nothing, but if you're spending the $3,500 just studying your niche, it's really serious. It's no joke. It's committed. It takes time. It takes just as much time to do that well as it would to just be creative. Now let's move on to the other stuff you were talking about, which is just artist stuff. So one thing I want to say is no idea. Nas says this a lot, and it's a very old proverb. No idea is original. Whatever's been thought of that you're thinking has been thought of before. So I always start out there. I never expect that anything that I think of is going to be original. Whether it was 100 years ago, 50 years ago, last week, the guy across the street from me, someone's thinking of it or thought of it. And which is why we're on this collective consciousness. As an artist, that's 101. You're never going to come up with an original idea. So in a way, that's a nice thing to think about, because then you just throw it all away and you just say, all right, I want to do this. That's it. I'm doing it. Is he doing it? Is he doing it? Oh, yeah, maybe not. It doesn't matter. Maybe that person will stop. This is what I want to do. And then now you also talked about the genuineness and how do you do it, and how do you cope with the competitiveness? Well, the truth is, when you get into the competitive nature of everything, you change the dynamics of your art. And it's sometimes necessary to be successful. You change the dynamics. So you're still doing art, but you're doing it in a way where you're thinking about people. So there's two ways to look at this. I justified it to myself because I started out very, very artsy. Like, the underground scene I was into was like, we were the truth. You know what I mean? We were the real hip hop. We were the backpackers, It's like this whole little niche group. And we knew what real hip hop was, and everybody else was just stupid.
In your defense, you were probably correct about that.
So we really, no, but it was. There's an arrogance to that too, right? So we're in this thing, and we're in this like groove of that. So we want to be true, and then even in that, you can become competitive. So I'm not going to go too far into that. So only thing I'll leave that alone and move on is just to say, wherever you are, even if it's in the real quotes art area, you can be competitive there too. So I just wanted to even the playing field to unknown, known, very famous. It's all the same struggle as an artist. I just wanted to even it out. So it's not like the guys coming up are different. No. So there's always going to be this internal battle as to whether you do art that's 100% F you, this is what I want to express. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. Where I'm at right now in my art is that, I'm writing that book, I'm doing the album, and I'm completely not giving a F what I'm doing as far as does it match, does it fit in, are people going to appreciate it? I'm not. But I have this ingrained kind of formula because I know how to make hits. So what I'm trying to do, and this is where I'm at in this whole. It's interesting because what you're talking about is stuff I've been thinking about too, in different ways. What I'm trying to do, and I think this is a good goal for any artist, is to do the honest, true expression of that makes you feel good as you're doing it, because you're seeing something, you want to bring it to light, and at the same time, try your best to make it the type of communication that people will get with, that they'll kind of like, it's still a good tune, let's say, but you're throwing in some stuff in there and it's kind of fun and it's not just so, that's what I tried to do yesterday. It's like, it's still a good tune. It's still got some catchiness. And what I'm adding to it is sort of a theatrical, some different characters and personality. And that's where I'm kind of doing something a little different. But I mean, it's not like no one's ever done anything like that before. But it's what I'm doing. And I'm trying to do it. Will it? And this is the weird thing. Even though I'm doing it in that way, I got to be honest with myself and say, this could just be for me. This could just be something I want to do. And I just want to do it, just for the sake of that. Maybe it'll catch on. Maybe it'll, I have a message I want to get across. Maybe it'll get across. Maybe it won't. But I'll tell you, if you can get there, at the very least, just like this show, 5 viewers, 10, 100,000, I still want to get up every Sunday, even as hard as it is sometimes, and do it. And I think that's the key. If you, anybody else, is doing art, whatever type of art it is, if you just want to do it, and it's tricky to get, and don't let these algorithms and this AI throw you for a loop and frustrate you, because if you spend the money, people are gonna see you. It's you put social media is tricky, man. You put up a post. Sometimes 20 people will see it, and then 5 interact. Sometimes it's not justified. The numbers aren't justified. So to justify yourself with unfair numbers that are nothing to do with you, they're just pieces in a big advertising system, and however you fit into that is how you're going to be played. It's not fair to judge art by that. It really isn't. And some art is going to be, like you said, amazing, but that, it to be successful, because then you asked me how did I deal with the competition. Competition, you can play it a lot of ways. I mean, I fell into the trap of, but trap in quotes, I don't know, was it the worst trap to fall in? But I did fall into the trap of like watching, I got something for that. You know what I mean? That I fell into that trap, and that was like learning from the person, respecting the person, but wanting to win versus that person or those people, or you know, it can be a form of respect too. You know, like it wasn't always like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, whatever. It was like, damn. Like sometimes people would blow me away with the music they did, and it would send me back to the drawing board. And I think that's the healthy competition. Like if you're doing something within a community and someone just rips it apart, and you're like, damn, that little key he threw in there changed everything. And that can make you go back to the drawing board and improve. But how you frame it, whether to be popular, successful, or are you just mastering and sharpening your tools and getting good at your craft, you know? It's so complex, and it's so individual, that whole dynamic, that it's like, it's very case by case, and it's very, very personal choices. You know, to stay here, to stay there, to, you know, and what are you going to, content, right? What are you going to be content with at the end of the day? What are you going, that's the big questions that people have to ask themselves. I don't even know, honestly, if being good alone, because it's marketing, it's strategy, it's to really break through. I do believe it can organically happen still, but if it is going to organically happen, it's only going to be through consistency.